What's wrong, Jerry?
I don't want to talk about it.
Come on, tell us. We want to know.
I messed up a cake.
It's okay, Jerry. It's just a cake.
It's just a cake. Really, Alex. It's just a cake. I am the cake master. I don't make mistakes. And it wasn't even my mistake, but I don't want to talk about it. Is dropping a baby just a baby? No. This is a cake. I don't know what we're gonna do. Someone pulled a cake out of the freezer, and because it wasn't leveled, everything fell apart. I baked a 20-inch square cake and cut it evenly, leaving myself two 2.5-inch pieces. I simple syruped the cake, and then I stacked it with no support, not even buttercream. Then I used a cake board and I flipped it into a cooking rack. That way the chocolate would fall down. I added the two smaller pieces on top and rounded the corners so it looks like the pastry. Then I filled it with strawberry preserves and marshmallow cream. And I wasn't even able to cover it in chocolate because then someone didn't level it in the freezer and the whole cake fell apart. But you know what? Give me. I'm not giving up that easy. I'm gonna remake this cake foolproof. My hands just farted. I'm gonna remake this cake foolproof again because you know what? Whatever happened, I don't quit. And this time I will learn from it and I'm gonna show you how much more easier we can make this cake. For round 2, I baked another 20-inch cake and I cut it evenly into 3 long rectangles, trimming around the edges. Then, of course, I simple syrup all of the layers. So this time, instead of cutting it into 2 pieces, I cut the cake into 3 equal pieces. And I'm gonna buttercream it very lightly in between each layer so that the cake holds the next one. And then we will carve the crater in the center of the cake instead of trying to build one, that way it doesn't fall off. And this will give you a foolproof method and you won't have the disaster that happened earlier. Yeah, I should have just done that from the beginning. But you know, I like to complicate things. But like I said, this cake is gonna look amazing. Watch. I place a bottom layer on a cake board and I'm just gonna put a tiny amount of buttercream, not so it shows, but just so all the cakes stick together, unless you add dowels for support. And I'm gonna stack all 3. We caught a ghost on camera. Not necessarily, but did you see that piping bag? Like, replay it in slow motion. Did you see that piping bag fall? No one was there, so I don't know how that even fell because the wall is there and then I'm there. I think we have a ghost. Maybe the ghost ruined the cake and it wasn't even me. Problem solved. Make sure you spread the buttercream as thin as possible, or else when you slice this cake, it will show the layers.
And if you wanted to show layers, that's fine. This cake does not have to be perfect, because if you know what a gansito looks like, it has ruffles around the edges, so you don't have to crumb coat, but you do want to trim and brush off as many crumbs as you want, because that will make your chocolate coating way more easy and quick. Then once I trim all the sides, I trim the top so that the top of my cake is leveled. Then I begin to trim the edges of my cake, because this pastry has rounded edges. So with your knife, you carefully cut off a portion of the edge and then round it off as you go. And you want to do that to the two top sides of your cake. Then after that, I'm going to leave about 2 inch to 1.5 inch spacing from the side. And I'm going to use my knife to carve out the center out, but you want to save that for later. Once I take the top layer off, I continue to use my knife to carve at least 1 cake layer down for the filling.
And we're about to hit, Alex, we're about to hit 2,000 views in less than 3 weeks. That is like record, because I hustle. Not only do I make not only do I make the cake videos, well, Alex helps out, but I mean the cakes, I also do all the networking on my own, and it's been working. Don't look at me like that. It's been working. And so if you like this video, and if you like gansitos, and if you like that I mess up, but I promise you will not see that again. Well, I can't promise. Make sure you like this video, share it on all your social medias. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Visit our website at CakeWithIt.com, and you can put it on here. And give us your feedback. Give us your thought, what you want me to make as a cake, what you want to see on this channel. I want to make these videos for you guys, not only for entertainment, but have some people out there who actually take cake making seriously and actually cake with it.
You can buy strawberry jam already made. I just put it in a piping bag, and I'm going to pipe the strawberry jam first in a nice thick even layer. And then you could actually buy marshmallow jet puff in the stores, and you could just use that, because that's what I did. And I'm going to pipe that on top of the strawberry filling. Evenly, of course, but that's a struggle, because try piping marshmallow out of a piping bag. I then grabbed the piece of cake that I took from the top, and I'm going to trim it to thinner, so that way my filling doesn't come out. And I'm going to put that on top of the cake to cover it, to make the chocolate coating easy. And then I transfer it using a cake board into a cooling rack and get it ready for the next step.
Do you have faith in me, Alex?
Guess?
What do you mean you guess? He means
Yeah.
yes. So I'm going to grab chocolate, and you can melt any kind of chocolate, but I'm using a mix between semi-sweet and bittersweet. Melt it, and you're going to add 2 tablespoons of... What? I can't think of it. I'm so focused on this cake. Coconut oil. And you're going to stir it in, and that's going to thin out your chocolate, because I know a lot of you don't have cocoa butter sitting around. And then pour that on top of your cake very, very seductively. And then you're gonna smear it and coat it. And this is a cake you don't have to crumb coat, but you do have to chip.
Next, you pour your chocolate on top of the cake, and it doesn't have to be perfect at this point. You just want to make sure you coat the top and some of the edges. And it's important that your chocolate is not hot. I wait till mine is cool to room temperature and then pour it on top. And again, you want to add that coconut oil, or if you have cocoa butter, so that your chocolate is thinned out and not very thick. Then once you have everything poured out, you use an offset spatula and then you spread evenly the edges, the front and the back, making sure all of your cake is coated. And if you need to, go back, add more chocolate and coat it. And then everything that's left over on the bottom of the pan, you could definitely scrape that off, melt it, and then strain it and reuse it again. Next, I grab fondant, and not only am I going to add a little bit of brown food coloring, I'm actually going to add half a cup of cocoa powder, and I'm going to knead that until it changes the fondant consistency more to like candy, almost like a sprinkle. Then I'm going to roll it, which is going to be a little more harder to roll. Then I'm going to use my bench scraper to cut them into different sizes, and again, these are sprinkles, so some can be bigger than others. They don't have to be the exact same size. I had put the cake in the freezer, that way it would chill faster. And now I'm going to use my knife to cut around the sides of my cake to loosen it up so it doesn't stay stuck to the pudding rack. And then I'm going to transfer that to my final cake fork. Then I'm going to start assembling all the sprinkles all over the top of the cake. You want to make sure you place the sprinkles so they look scattered and not actually try to overthink it, because then it'll look uniform and you want to look like someone just came and dumped sprinkles on top of your Gansito cake. And ladies and gentlemen, a huge Gansito cake that tastes way better, if not equally to the normal. And first I'm going to show you how the smaller one looks on the inside, just in case you've never seen one before I go ahead and cut this ginormous cake in half. I don't even know if I should call it cake, because it's like a Gansito technically. Ladies and gentlemen, a Gansito cake, and oh my god, it is so delicious, and it tastes exactly, if not the same as the original thing. It's just so weird when you have a large, huge version. I don't even think I should call it a cake, because technically it is a Gansito. So if you like this video, make sure you try making it yourself, and if you do, hashtag CakeWithIt on social media.